So welcome to our spring webinar with myself, Ivan Tuohy, CEO of Great Visitor Experiences, and my guest, Nuala Mulqueeney from Aillwee and Borough Trade Centre in the very heart of the Burn in Ballybough, County Clare. So I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to you all, and thank you for giving up your time this morning for our webinar. I really hope that you're going to enjoy the next 30 minutes with me in conversation with Nuala. Our agenda this morning is very straightforward. I'm going to give a very brief introduction, about 2 or 3 minutes, on what we do at Great Visitor Experiences. I'm then going to invite my guest, Nuala Mulqueeney, to give an overview of our beloved Aillwee Cave and Borough Trade Centre. And next, we're going to have about a 15-minute Q&A session on topics ranging from the season ahead, to tourism, to technology. My colleague, Stephen Ford, is going to manage the chat box. So if you have any questions or queries, please do put them in there. And we've also been getting some emails over the last few days with questions as well. So if we get a chance, Stephen will try and field those questions to us at the end of the presentation. So without further ado, I'll kick off and explain who we are and maybe a small bit of what we do. So simply put, we are a visitor experience technology company that transforms how visitor attractions, museums, destinations, and activity providers manage their customers and manage their business. We only focus on this sector, which makes us a specialist in the market. My own work experience has been managing and leading hotels in Ireland, and most recently as general manager at Shannon Heritage, who had in excess of 1 million annual visitors. I set up this company towards the end of 2018, as I felt that based on my experience, that there were some pretty big gaps within the wider visitor attraction and museum sector. And I couldn't really find any company in the market to help me. These gaps, from my direct knowledge of the job, included: 1, trying to actually connect with visitors who were already on site and in the attraction itself. 2, to tell our unique stories that were largely hidden from our visitors in a language that was native to them. 3, to activate real-time promotions, be it based on the time of day or based on the visitor's location. 4, to reduce costs on printing of maps, on audio guides, and general promotional paper-based products. And finally, 5, to actually learn something from as many of our visitors as possible. So we launched version 1 of our visitor app in November 2019, and we secured some brilliant forward-thinking clients. We all know what happened in March 2020, and we've used this time, the last 24 months, to really listen to our customers, do more focus groups, and build out more and new innovative digital products for the sector. We now operate under 4 key pillars: our intuitive visitor app, our software solution for ticketing, the All Ireland Destination Guide, and also the destination management platform for DMOs and for the likes of tourism clusters. So since our product launch, we've won many awards, particularly around innovation. We build our products so that businesses can keep adding new features as their business grows. And where you can manage your visitor experience, your audio guides, your ticketing, and so much more in all in one simple to use, easy dashboard. So that's my 2.5 minutes. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much. I'm now going to invite you to my lovely guest, Nuala, to speak about Aillwee for a few moments. Thank you.
Thanks, Ivan, and it's lovely to talk to everybody and see everybody from all across the country. It's mighty. Yeah, my name is Nuala Mulqueeney, and I'm second generation managing director of our family business, Aillwee Cave and Birds of Prey Centre here, as Ivan said, right in the heart of the unique Burn region in North County Clare. I hope most of you have heard of us before. We've been open since 1976, and over those, I suppose we're nearly at 45 years of being open. We have developed our attraction, and I suppose by definition we're a day visitor attraction. We started with guided tours of the cave, and the picture you see behind me is our lovely access building that was built in 1981/82. in the middle of another recession, can I say that? Then in 2000 and about 1985, first of all, we added our cheese making production site here on site. We have been making Burn Gold cheese. It's a Gouda style cheese for over 35 years. The milk we use our cheese from comes from the same farmer just up at the top of the valley. John Carraconnell and John Darvin, they're the family. We've gotten our milk from the same family for all that time. Then Santa appeared on site in our workshop in the millennium 2000, and so he being here and meeting with lots and lots of children from all over the country ensured that we could stay open all year round, which I suppose was a big feather in our cap at the time, because as we know, the tourism season can be quite seasonal. But with Santa's sojourn with us during in the lead up to Christmas, meant that we could provide year round employment. In 2008, then we added the Birds of Prey Centre to our offering, and now we're home to anywhere sometimes between 30 and 35 different raptor species, native, non-native, from tiny little burrowing owls to large white-tailed sea eagle. We have a lovely example, and so that's what kind of the main developments that we've had on our 26-acre site, which includes 8 acres of native woodland, hazel, ash, and holly. So I suppose what we do is we interpret the burn for people. We give people experiences, overground and underground experiences of this unique region. And above all, we're a family business, and we welcome all types, everybody to our attraction here. So we feel we need to have a lot of experiences for these people for everybody to enjoy themselves together. So that's kind of an overview of our business. Yeah, was that 2.5 minutes, Ivan? I don't know. Anyway, there you go.
That's perfect, Nuala. You know, and you have so much there on site to do. It's very hard to get into kind of 2.5, 3 minutes, especially when you're there for the last 40, 45 years as well. And I suppose I've been uniquely placed over the last while to spend so much time with you and the team there to really learn all that Aillwee has to offer. I know we're going to cover that now in the next couple of minutes. Yeah. And it has evolved so much. So while I suppose a lot of people now kind of see lots of new shiny attractions, there's the likes of yourselves that has been shiny and new at different periods of time, not just at the end, not just at the beginning. So I think, you know, before we even start the conversation, I'd like to say, look, well done for keeping your business going for so long, because it has been challenging, and your location in the Burn is not an easy location to get to either.
It is. Well, as I always say, I take my hat off to the generation before me. They were the brave people. They were the risk takers. There's 2 families who own and run the cave, and my parents were one of the families, and Roger and Susan Johnson. As I say, they were the risk takers. We're carrying on the mantle now, and delighted to be able to do so, putting our own twist in a few things now.
Yeah, and Nuala, talking about risk takers, I think you're kind of selling yourself a bit short there, because after a very tough 2 years that we've all come through, you're actually investing an awful lot of money into your site. So I suppose maybe you might just touch on, I suppose, that investment, you know, why you're doing it now, and why you're not waiting a year, 2 years down the line to start generating some cash. So why do you think now is the right time to invest such a large amount of money to the physical structure of Aillwee Cave?
Yeah, well, yeah, we have since last November started to invest in all the attractions, and the reason why we've been talking about it for far too long, Ivan. Wish lists have been added to and taken from for the last 10 dozen years, to be brutally honest, and I talk about, and maybe people are thinking of a tired, hackneyed phrase at this stage, but there were some silver linings during our COVID lockdowns, that it gave us a chance, as I always say, to throw everything off the table and really see, have a deep dive and look at what we had. And you know, things were beginning to fall around our ears. Like I say, I'm the second generation. You know, I consider myself sometimes an overlapper as well. I'm watching new technology advances, and we'll talk about all of that. You know, but if we didn't do it now, it would be on the back foot we were going as an attraction. If you gauge your success as a visitor attraction by visitor numbers, there's a whole other argument to be talked about that. But up until COVID, our visitor numbers had had plateaued off. Do you know what I mean? And I think tourism was rising in our cities, but in our rural areas, it was beginning to plateau and that sort of thing. And a different type of tourism, which sometimes doesn't quite suit rural attractions and activities and that sort of thing, was beginning to take hold. So we really needed to look at our offering, and while it's sound, it needs elevating. So that's what we've been doing since November. We have leveled and built up lovely new aviaries for our Raptor residents, and at the moment we're up to our necks in the cave. We have taken every light out of the cave and we're relighting the whole underground show cave. That's a huge undertaking for us. I've only done it once before in the history of nearly 50 years of the cave, and we're absolutely illuminating an underworld that even I didn't realize existed. In the previous guys, it was all about an air of mystery and what's around the next corner. Now it's illuminating and showing off the different textures and formations and that sort. So it's exciting. I'm delighted. I was I have to say, a bit nervous the day all the lighting came out and the scrap merchant came to have a look to see could he do anything with the copper. And I said, oh my God, something has to go back in now. You know what I mean? But we're nearly there, and it's going to be fantastic. So COVID gave us that real time to say it's now or never, really and truly. And we went for it.
No, well done. And in terms of the season ahead, Nuala, I suppose the last two Easters have been very domestic driven because there's been literally nobody else, and you can nearly go as far as saying it's been very, very Clare driven because you couldn't get past your county. Right. So in terms of Easter, May Bank Holiday weekend, and summer ahead, how do you see that mix of business between domestic, international, European market coming back to you?
Yeah. It's very hard to say, and I hate sitting on the fence, but I was thinking about that question, and the word jittery is coming to mind, to be brutally honest. Like any sizable tourist attraction, we have been attending the tour operator workshops that have been on, say ITOA, and Mehel is coming up in Killarney now in a couple of weeks' time, and you'll be chatting to tour operators and that sort of thing. And I find that we'll take whatever we can in 2022, but a lot of the talk is about 2023. It's very difficult to have anything down on paper. I think I don't like to be negative, but I'm a realist, and I think we'll be looking heavily again to our domestic market throughout 2022. And as I say, I just saw the oil men coming on site today, and I said, now there's a site we haven't seen in a while, and we're just getting the bare minimum to get us over. We really have to watch our costs, and I'm sure I'm saying things that are going through everybody's mind on the call today. But what I want is to be open and have the gates open and have our Aillwee welcome ready for people. When we're ready to open. So jittery is the word I would say about forward bookings, Ivan, honestly.
No, I say you're probably taking a very solid approach because you've been too ambitious maybe this year, like maybe you're extending yourself, and especially when business have been closed for so long, you can't afford to have maybe a soft season ahead. And I know there's been a lot of talk about Irish people going abroad and booking holidays. So you may not get the domestic bounce maybe another year. So then being pragmatic and being realism is actually a very solid base to work from and build out from there.
Yeah, we've been very lucky, and I always take my opportunity to talk about the domestic market, even prior to COVID. They're great ambassadors to have for your attraction. They really, really, really are. If you can educate our own domestic market about what you have on offer, you're onto a good thing. Because even if they're not visiting you, when they're out away, they're talking about you, and talking about what's to do and see in Ireland. So always mind your domestic market would be a bit of advice from me.
Good job. And so in general, Nuala, in terms of technology, the technology piece, how do you see technology working for your business in general, from maybe online ticketing, where you're doing it before the pandemic, to other areas within the business? And how do you think technology maybe can increase sales for you overall?
Well, I'll tell you, you're talking to somebody that was very hard to convince pre-COVID, but now she has gotten on the bandwagon, hook, line, and sinker. And that's not just talking stupidly. You know, pre-COVID, and that's because of our longevity in the market. You know, we would have always used a lot of brochure distribution, all that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And really and truly, when we had to close for COVID, and then when we reopened again, it was all about pre-booking, counting your people on site, all that sort of thing. We had to, no more than anybody else on this call, pivot quickly, you know. But having said that, we really saw the benefits that we were, you know, educating our visitors so much more pre-visit as well. Do you know what I mean? Before they actually got on site. And we, you know, because of the ability to, I suppose, what do we call about sales funnels and things like that, you know, we could talk to our visitors, like I say, when they were in the mind of even making up their mind of what destination to come to and that sort of thing, you know. So technology has played the only part, can I say that, in sowing the seeds and then, you know, making the purchase, which was all done prior to on site, you know, in the main. Now, certainly if we had, you know, if space allowed, we would take admissions on site as well, you know. But and then we had time to do what we do best on site, and that is serve our visitors, entertain our visitors, educate our visitors, show them, make sure they know everything that was on site, you know, and take care of them, because safety and health during the when we got to open up was paramount as well. Do you know what I mean? And people have changed over 45 years as well. People like to be shown, like the stories to be told to them. They like to make sure that they haven't missed out on anything. Do you know what I mean? And through the advances in technology, you know, when the admission was pre-bought and that sort of thing, it gave us the time just to be able to do what we do best on site. And long may that continue.
Yeah, well, I think the pre-booking element is going to get bigger and bigger, because like everywhere I go, I see, you know, blockages in terms of, you know, customers are being blocked from coming in. You know, I need to find money. How many people are with you? So instead of, you know, just asking people for money, you're more just engaging people in terms of customer service role and say, you're very welcome, show me your ticket, and keep moving. We spent a couple of days in Canary last year, myself, my wife, and our two boys. And it was kind of a soft day. We pre-booked to go to one of the animal farms. So what to do when you have two boys, 4 and 6? And I met the owner of the animal farm. And I said, look, you know, how is this pre-booking element going for you? He said it was the best thing that he ever did. And I go, what about the commissions and the extra charges? He said, look around you, we're full. On a normal day, he goes, and if the weather is soft, there'll be nobody here because the weather's not great. We don't go. People are pre-booked. They have to come. He goes, it's fantastic. He goes, I would never go back. And no matter how much they're charging in terms of commissions, he goes, it's worth it. I'm open and I'm full. So like, it's fundamental in terms of operators. I really, their mindset has changed so much. I think in a positive way in terms of how they view their business and how they manage it.
For sure. But I think it had to take something like the reopening after COVID for people to believe it, to, you know, because sometimes when you're talking theoretically, it's great to be able to put it into practice and see it actually working and spreading people throughout the day. You know, that whole thing of sheep, people are like sheep, they'll get up at the same time, they'll go to breakfast at the same time, and blah, 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 blah. When really sometimes, like you say, you've got a 6 and a 4-year-old, you're up since 7 o'clock in the morning, you might as well get out and get going and go to Aillwee or wherever it is for 10 o'clock. And we're delighted to see you at 10, you know, so there you go.
Exactly, yeah. No, great, no, and I think that's the way the industry is going. And anybody from Falls Ireland would say, I know Siobhan, I think Siobhan King's on the call there this morning as well. They've been endorsing this idea of dynamic pricing, you know, cheaper in the morning, not more expensive, but no, your normal rack rate in the afternoon. Like, pick your times that are best suited for your business, and, you know, force the customer into different funnels or channels that suit your business best, you know, and it's the way to do your business.
For sure.
So in terms of closer to home, in terms of being closer to us, Nuala, At what point do you think that the team at Great Visitor Experiences could actually do something for you or help your business?
Yeah, well, I had seen you mentioned there in your introduction that you started the business, Ivan, in 2018. I think we met in mid 2019. And again, I was a little bit kind of, well, I suppose I'll go and see what he has on offer and that sort of thing, you know. But I have to say, Ivan, you know, you came on site and we chatted and we walked the site up and down and over and back, and then I let you off on your own to walk the site over and back and that sort of thing. And I think this is a testament to your history and your employment history as well, that you get visitor attractions, you get what's going on, you get the needs, you get the obstacles and that sort of thing, you know. And from day one, I liked that you had that the background there, that you understood the practicalities of what was needed from a you know, an on-site information interpretation application, I suppose is basically what it is, you know. So you could see the opportunities. You could see, for example, that in our Board of Press Centre we had an audio guide that was beginning to get old, was failing, had only one language on it that we could afford because it was so expensive to get translations done, you know. And so I suppose, you know, strategically from your point of view, you could see the gaps that were missing across the Aillwee site, and we chatted about it. And, you know, common sense is great, you know what I mean, and if you can fill those gaps, well, that appeals to me, you know. So certainly we had started the ball rolling before COVID hit, and then of course the rest at this stage now is nearly as history. Yourself and Stephen, who's manning the room here today, arrived here then at some stage last year, I think it was, to have a chat with all the team and that sort of thing, and just to show the team how important you know, the content on the app will help as a tool to our visitors to ensure that they're getting the best value out of their visit to Aillwee, you know. And I see, that's how I see the app, is as a nearly you know, enhancing the value and enhancing the information that people have while they're on site. I mean, I will never, for example, get rid of my guides in on the cave tour. I feel it's a wonderful relationship to have. Plus, we want people to see all parts and come out of the cave safely and that sort of thing. But again, you know, the whole content on the app can enhance the information and that sort of thing.
And I think Nuala, know, like, what always catches me out, you know, and everywhere I go, you know, I always think, you know, what is the story here? So like, no, Aillwee cave, you know, like, no, it's a cave, no, what's the difference between that and other caves? And you're like, oh, Ivan, like, this is a show cave, like, you know, you have no idea what you're talking about, you know. Every cave is different, you know. It's a water cave, it's a high cave, it's a show cave, you know. And I was like, but it's a cave, you know. And like, it's only when I actually started to learn the story of Jacko, how he found the cave, the family history, that really, like, oh, the why, you know. Why is it here? Why is it so special, you know? What is Aillwee, you know? And that's what I found was just not lacking in your business, Nuala, but everywhere I go, it's like, I see the attraction, I get it, but tell me the story behind it. And even in my previous employment, there were so many stories to tell, to slow down the visitor, to engage them a small bit more, and with no way of doing that. So that's where I suppose the driver came from, in terms of the why, who lived here, why is it here, and would be the same for your business in terms of trying to tell those untold stories that nobody ever hears about.
Absolutely, for sure. And like that, you know, people say to me, who are your visitors, right? And who are your markets? And we have visitors from all walks of life and all ages. And some people will want the headline information, others will want a deep dive into what you had for your breakfast this morning before you came to work, or what makes the whole site tick, and how do we contribute to the region, and how do, you know, the visitors' contribution, how does that contribute to the whole destination? And again, the app gives us a chance to give that extra bit of information for people who are looking for it, you know what I mean, and helps our team members along as well, you know.
Very good, Nuala. And in terms of getting set up, getting organized, and now I know we spent some time with you on site. So, like, how much work was there for you and your team to get set up and get organized? Or what were the biggest barriers for you?
In terms of getting the content ready for the app, I suppose it's just getting the content together, you know. And there were emails and phone calls. Nuala, come on. We need them. We need the photos. We need the sitemap. We need all that sort of thing. And certainly, I have to say that we were corralled well by you and your team of Stephen up there, you know. Deadlines and that sort of thing. It's getting, and we have a lot of content. Do you know what I mean? And but getting that down was probably our biggest challenge. But it's like everything. Once it's there, you can reuse it for so many things as well, or take bits and pieces out of it. You know what I mean? And so there's always method to the madness, isn't there? Yeah.
And that's what we find ourselves, in terms of we kind of work off kind of a shared visitor economy in terms of a shared visitor platform. And in the case of we can get someone set up within 48 hours. But the hardest part for us, we find, is the likes of Nuala, we're up, we're running, where's your content? Oh yeah, I have to get to that. So did you find it difficult to find all the content? It was just a matter of just getting organized and just getting it done.
I mean, when I go into our files, we have archives and we have modern and we have this and we have that. It's just, as I say, getting organized. And some people are brilliant at it, others not so much.
Not so bad. So I'm just conscious of the time now. I might have one or two more questions for you, Nuala.
Sure.
So now that you've implemented, I suppose, our platform and the Visitor app, have you started looking at other technologies that might enhance the visitor experience or the business itself?
Well, and not to give too much away, because as I say to you, we're on the cusp of a rebrand and reopening. But yes, we've always spoken about, say, for example, along our tour route, how the cave was formed and what animals used to inhabit the cave. And of course, you all know the bear. We've used the bear as our logo from day one, and bears used to hibernate in the cave. So we're upping the ante a little bit with our hopefully video presentations and that sort of thing underground. So to give people a real immersive experience. But I'm going to say no more. You're going to have to come.
Fair enough. Well, my boys always keep saying is when do we meet the bears? And I was like, they're there.
Well, this is it, So you better beware the next time you visit. All right, Ivan.
Exactly. Look, Nuala, I'm going to end our Q&A session there, and thank you very, very much. And I'm actually going just to bring Stephen on board there for a few moments. Stephen, good morning to you. Have we any questions in the chat box, or any questions to put to Nuala or myself?
We haven't any questions in the chat at the moment, but if anyone wants to put them in there, we'd be delighted to put them to Nuala or Ivan. But I suppose I canvassed people, Ivan, in advance of the webinar to kind of submit a couple of questions just in advance. So I suppose to you, who, and I know the answer to this obviously, who would be a typical customer for the Visitor app?
Well, I suppose we have different products for different customers, whether it be a destination, a DMO, or online ticketing. But I suppose in the conversation today regarding the Visitor app, I suppose a typical customer is really a visitor attraction or a museum. It can be what we call a private commercial enterprise, likes of Aillwee Cave. It can be a county council-led enterprise, likes of Loophead Lighthouse or King John's Castle in Limerick City, all of whom are clients with us, or the likes of Clarny House and Gardens in Kerry, who are managed by the National Wildlife National Parks and Wildlife Services. So I suppose once you're a visitor attraction and museum for this particular product, and there will be our ideal customer.
We have a question from Aisling Kelleher in the chat. Can the app do push notifications once the visitor is on site? So that's
yes. Hi Aisling, how are you? Yes, it can. So what we would do, we'd automate that for you. So what we would try and do is trigger a push notification with a set message. So we don't really expect staff to be changing messages all the time. So the likes of your site, actually, I won't give it away, but I know where you are. So if people are leaving an element of your attraction, you can say when they pass a particular point, or they can get a trigger in terms of push notification, say, continue your experience and do something else, or continue your experience and go to the shop, or continue your experience and get 5% discount in the cafe. So depending on what that message is, we can send that push notification once they're using the application on site.
Great, thanks.
Thanks, Aisling.
Yeah, just another question that was sent in advance, Ivan. What's the level of support offered from Great Visitor Experiences with getting a client set up? and running.
So one of our innovation elements is that we allow actually attraction museums to self-build. So once we set up their template and their framework, they can go into the web portal themselves and add content and add their hotspots and key points of interest. So we can actually have a very low touch, which equates to a very low cost on an annual basis, or the likes of Nuala, where we can be on site, work with the team, meet the team, and really extract all the content from them. But one of the things is that this is never a finished product. We get you up and running, and then we enable then the attractions to actually go in, edit the information, change the information, add new information all the time. So the likes of Nuala, we've done the content there maybe about 6 months ago. So no, we don't need to do any more work ourselves with Nuala and the team there. They can actually go in and edit now, change the times, and add new elements to the experience all by themselves. So they don't need.
And it's very user friendly. Can I just say, if you know what I mean? It's like a Word document. Do you know what I mean? Depending on what you need, and it's we're all filling out forms, online nowadays. There's nothing. Even I can use it, all right?
Yeah, and so you don't need to keep giving us money over and over again outside of the annual subscription. I know in my previous roles, we were nearly afraid to ring companies to say, look, we have a piece of equipment or a touch screen that's broken, because we knew it was going to be maybe 4,000 or 5,000 euros for a service call. So because we built all these products in mind that if we enable the user as best we can to do it themselves, or we can charge a small fee and do all the work for them. So it's kind of two ways, Stephen. Either it's a self-service model or it's a full service model that we can provide you with.
And we've 2 more questions in the chat. So there's one is in from Tim Madden. Thanks, Ivan and Nuala. Can we use the technology to develop joint ticketing opportunities across the Burn?
Yes, we can. So we're working on a client actually up in North, where they're looking at doing multi-venues and multi-tickets. And again, I suppose the challenge there is that you have sites that are using the same ticketing provider. So if you have me and Nuala and Tim as 3 different providers, that kind of doesn't work. So the beauty for us is that you can group all these together, and with our portal we can get people up and running with promotions so quickly. And again, I suppose you don't need to come to us. We have the promotion item. We enable you to do all the work yourself. And when I say all the work yourselves, it's a matter of logging in, updating your promotion, and launching it. So again, I suppose it's built a lot of technical background from ourselves, but from the user like Nuala, it's very simple. They don't see all the machines in behind. It's very user friendly. And with Tim, to answer your question directly, is having people working together. So whether it's a cluster or a network, and doing a deal or doing a license agreement that say, look, we all come together, Ivan, and we want to do one particular promotion.
And then a question from Austin Baker. Does the app have the capability to create real-time interactions with elements of the physical experience?
Yes, it's all real time. So if Nuala makes a change now to the application, it's done immediately. So it's pushed right through. So in real terms, the app in itself is only the delivery. So you never change the app per se, you change the content in the back end, and that's fully usable by the client. So, and it's not complicated. It's a simple login, username, and it's all pushed through. And the beauty for us is that, if you have the visitor app, if you have ticketing, if you have your dashboard, your exit surveys, it's all in one portal. So you don't need 5 usernames. It's all in one simple place. And again, we will grow with you. So if you only want one element today, that's fine. If you want a little bit more, we add more to you. So everything that we've done is built in modulars. So we just add another module. So you don't get things you don't want. You only get things and you pay for what you need.
Okay, so we're just gone over the half hour. So if there's any more questions, we can. I'll put one more to Ivan if anyone wants to put one into the chat, and after Ivan's concluded that question, we might just leave it there, if that's okay. So Ivan, I suppose just the meat and bones. What's the pricing structure for this?
This is always a tricky question, but we try and have a fixed price across all our products. So so our entry level price is about 975 euros plus VAT per year. And then if you want to add on translations, add on push notifications, add on exit surveys, we can add on those blocks. one by one. So at a very entry basic price, we can have you up and running. We can have you set up within 48 hours, literally. But the biggest challenge that Nuala mentioned is just the content, identifying your key points of interest, gathering the content, and then get up and running. So for us, we have you set up more or less straight away. The content piece is the slower piece from there, but our entry level is $975 plus that, and we go up from there.
Okay, that's perfect. We don't have any more questions in the chat, so I think we can wrap up there.
Sure, yeah, I'll wrap it up there, so Stephen. So, and again, if anybody has any questions, we can come back to you directly on those. So look, the next bank holiday weekend is about 4 weeks away, the 18th of April. As I mentioned, now is a fantastic time to think about your business, how you manage your customers, how you manage your business. And we are just a tool. We won't solve all your problems, but we really feel that with our knowledge and our sectorial knowledge, that we can add more than just a visitor app to your business. We can identify gaps, we can identify opportunities, and we'll grow with you as your business grows. So what I will always say to you is, look, don't be afraid to reach out to us, ask us questions. I won't say we're the best salespeople in the world, but we're not here to give you a hard sell. We'll talk to you, we'll give you all the options. If we're not for you, we'll say we're not for you, because what we want is customers that will grow and engage with us, as opposed to, oh, I don't really want this at all, understand this. So talk to us and we'll give you the best case scenario. I was also say, we've loads of information on government grants, on funding routes. So you might say, Ivan, look, I can't afford this, but I'd love to have it. Talk to us, and we have some great guidance there in terms of routes that you can get funding from. And we have several customers coming on live in April that have gotten grants from different organizations. So talk to us and we'll give you the background information. And finally, I suppose from us, I would like to say, look, thank you very much to Stephen, one of my colleagues. He's done a great job in pulling all this together. Nuala, as always, fantastic to engage with you, and you're so honest and authentic. And I think that's brilliant. To all of you for giving us your 39 minutes this morning, it's a real pleasure. People sign up to all these things all the time, and for us both, look, all we want to do is grow the industry and be someone and something that's important. We didn't develop the company just to be a normal company. We really thrive on being different and being innovative, and we will continue to be innovative and to help you in your business and to manage your customers better. So I think that's it from my side. I'd like to wish you all a very safe weekend ahead, particularly on the roads, and from a financial point of view, a very successful season ahead. And I look forward to speaking to you all again soon. So thank you all very much.
That's lovely. And all I want to say is, Ivan, thanks a million for having me. I've enjoyed it, and have a great 2022, everybody. Hope to see you at Aillwee. All right.
Okay. Thank you all very much, and enjoy the rest of your morning.
Thank you.